welcome back. In this video, we're going to be talking about a actually large blizzard or snowstorm, whatever you want to call it. I do think in some areas could experience blizzard conditions. This is going to be for the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. Let's get going. All right, so a very large nor'easter now expected. Like yesterday, I said I was going to make a video in the morning. It's kind of late morning, but I wanted to get the new runs of a few models that I'm just, all up to date with the snowfall totals and all that. I only updated one slide out of here. I'm probably going to update it later on today, but this is pretty much similar as yesterday. What I put where this is going to occur is in the Northeast, Ohio, Kentucky, and the Tennessee and North Carolina mountains, West Virginia, parts of Delaware, Maryland. This is where you guys are in the best likely for the winter storm. But the highest spot right now, I would say, is in the strip in the I-95 on west. Is in these areas right here. I do think it's going to experience the worst of the winter storm. I do think it is possible that I can put a worse possibility. So this is where in the red, the snowstorm, but the worst of the snowstorm right now is locking in on Pennsylvania, parts of northern New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut. We'll have to continue to wait and see, but this is where I'm seeing on all the data throughout last night and today where the heaviest snow occurs, the strongest winds, and where the blizzard conditions are most likely out of the system. Then I updated this. All right, this is a latest update on the snowstorm probabilities from the National Weather Service that you could definitely tell it's a lot more different. They added a whole bunch of more blue and even that 70 to 90% into southern Pennsylvania, but that blue for Allentown, eastern Pennsylvania. Like I said, I think these areas into here, right here, is going to be experienced the blizzard conditions. If it's going to be any blizzard conditions for at least a few hours, I'm telling you right now, it will be in this red. Right now, from all the data I am seeing, is where this is the best probabilities for the snowstorm to occur and likely going to happen. So then we go into the setup. Yes, the setup doesn't look any different, but I did move the high pressures a little bit more north and east because on the latest data has a more of a nor'easter that actually goes up the East Coast, and now New England could be impacted more than last night that we were thinking. So the high pressure is a little bit more weaker and pushed north. That's going to help this low to at least make it closer to Boston before having to take that sharp east turn. All right. But everything else pretty much the same. But very cold air. We'll have to see. This is probably going to be a wet snow for many. So a wet, windy driven snow, and probably going to have very large problems for your weekend commute, especially Saturday night. And then you go here. This is the pretty much similar as yesterday. I'm probably going to redo it, re-update it later on today, but I do have a 10 to 15 inches pretty much for the PA area. I might have to nudge that up just a bit more to make the 1 to 3 a little bit more big on the northern side, but for the most part, the snowfall ain't going to change too much. I am thinking of at least right now. So those are the forecasts from me. Those are my forecasts. The pattern setup, that's pretty much just all data into a map like that. All right. This is from the National Weather Service. By the way, the snowstorm probabilities. This is where I'm thinking the worst and where it's going to occur. And then there's the opening slide. So what is causing this is, like I said in a few videos ago, the stratospheric warming event for January 5th, 7th, 11th, and pretty much everything. All right, we got a negative AO right now. We got a negative EPO and a negative PNA really in the forecast. I haven't updated those maps, by the way, so it could be a little bit more different now, but this is what is expected. So that's a very big part why we're getting snowstorms out of nowhere than other years, because everything is falling in line. All right. So let's get started here with looking at some of the models. All right. Model we're going to look at is the GFS. Just came out. See, 57 hours. And we do have another storm right behind it. We will have to, look into too, because it's going to be for January 8th. So the question is it going to be cold enough? Where does it track? A lot of differences on the latest model runs. But we'll have to wait and see. So let's take this out for Mid-Atlantic and just take this here. So there's the snow showers expected, maybe a coating or something, but this is that big storm. Likely to see free mixed bag for the mountains, the valleys of North Carolina and Tennessee, but out ahead of it, that snow will start, and we'll have to see how this just continues to occur. But this is in 93 hours, so it's really starting to come into viewing area. But you could tell that snowstorm really starts developing on the GFS. A little weird how it's a little break there, but I could see on the understanding of that. We'll have to see if we see something like that where those do connect, because that really could add another 5 inches of snow on top of what's forecasted. Then you could see the large storm. We have a low back in West Virginia and the East Coast. All right, this is our two lows. The winds too, some freezing rain, heavier snows back in the Ohio, Chicago area, Pennsylvania, northern New York, New York City, Delaware, West Virginia, and pretty much in the areas like that, right? Then we're going to continue to see this nor'easter in the develop. So we go into the 105 hours out. You can tell our low, we have a low up here and a low down here. And that's actually bringing all this wind that you're going to have is probably going to be coming off the East Coast. So some easterly, southerly winds. And usually you think, yes, it's going to raise the temperatures. For the coastal areas, it's probably going to raise the temperatures. But this high to the north is strong enough still to provide that cold air. We continue and boom, this thing absolutely ravishes areas of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Ohio. There's that low, an area of low pressure right here, and an area of low pressure just about to reach off the coast. So we kind of have a double low pressure. We got rain towards the coast, like southern New Jersey, but Philadelphia, at least right now, staying in the snow. Washington, you guys are actually in the rain on this model. New York City, you guys are in the snow. All of Pennsylvania is in the snow at this point. So this is definitely going to be a Pennsylvania, New Jersey type snowstorm. What I can get out of it. All right. For the timing on this, I didn't really make any time frames, but let's just 187 p.m. on Saturday. So that's one thing I will say. The storm has sped up quite a bit. So probably by like a few hours it sped up. So this is about 7 o'clock. This is about like maybe evening time on Saturday. This is 7 o'clock on Saturday. It is snowing. So Saturday evening, Saturday night, it's not going to be good anymore for driving. We thought the storm will occur more on Monday, Sunday night to Monday, but the time has sped up quite a bit. That's helping us to lock in on the storm a little bit more. Then we go into later. We go about another 3 hours. So this is probably around like 10 o'clock at night or so. We got very heavy snow on Saturday night. Now, let me just make sure of that. 111, 114. So 1:14 is 1 a.m. Oh, shoot. Oh. Oh, shoot. My bad. I accidentally exit the tab. But like I said, okay. All right. Then you get out 108. This is 111. This is about 4. This is about like 1 a.m. in the morning for your Saturday. It is snowing like crazy across Northeast, Eastern Pennsylvania, New York, just north of that, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts. It's snowing like crazy. But this nor'easter on this run likes to be right against the coast, bringing that wind and stuff. But wow, a very large nor'easter. But now in the latest GFS, has it going up a little bit more north than previous dot. It goes it pretty much rides. It goes into the Long Island area. You're still snowing with some gusty winds on the northern side, back side. But then on the GFS, it pretty much has it going up to Rhode Island. Massachusetts gets slammed, and then some back end snow showers. How much snow does the GFS bring? So we have two. We have 10-1 ratio. This is the average of the model. And pretty much for the average up to 6 to 10 inches. Some areas reaching 12. So 6 to 12 inches in a very wide spot. And you tell Boston being the jackpot with up to 18, 17, 18 inches. That's possible. New York, you guys are on the cusp of this. Maybe up to 8 inches. Philadelphia, more on the 3 to 5. But Allentown, Lehigh Valley, pretty much all of Pennsylvania sees a good 5+ inches, even out in Western PA. But this is going to be, you can tell with the track and everything. So, very large snowstorm, at least of right now. Low winds, we're still trying to debate on that. But the temperatures, too, is going to be very cold for the system. But we'll have to be a little careful, all right? We're going to have the cold air. But that line, that 32, 33 is going to be quite close with some areas. Yes, the temperatures will, get colder, but maybe in the beginning of this snow event, it's probably going to be more of a wet snow, to be honest. I do think it will be more of a wet snow in the beginning of this. But wow. You tell, boom. And then that storm goes on. And then we do have another storm. This one, in the debate, it's been trending more wintry for the Northeast. It's still showing a lot of rain for many areas, but it's been trending more snowy and more of those ice storm. Potentially an ice storm out of that. Is it possible? Maybe. That one will probably, by the end of these two storms, many areas over near 2 feet of snow. All right, near 2 feet of snow plus. Maybe not plus, maybe a little less. But freezing rain, definitely there too on that storm. The total snow in Croatia. This is a little bit more advanced, all right? Definitely some more areas in the adding of that foot up here, a little bit less. But wow, you got more of that widespread 15 inches. So that's the latest update on the GFS model, all right? The latest Canadian's not out on there, all right? Do they do the Canadian on here? They do. Does it go by 6 or how much? Yes, it does. So we're going to actually look at the model on here because I'm trying to look in the 3-hour duration. Now, we're not keep doing the 6 hours so that we can look into more of the actual time, if you know what I mean. We look at the GDPS as the same thing as the Canadian model, just a different word. But you can tell the storm starts coming, and boom, you got a Oh, that was on Monday. This hasn't even been updated. Okay, okay. Now it's updated. I was about to say, I'm like, wow, interesting. But there's a snowstorm starts to come. All right, we're looking at this, and then wow, you look at that, and you got a blockbuster nor'easter with the Canadian bringing once again the heaviest snow in this quarter. I do think right in this quarter is going to be in the heaviest snow where this nor'easter occurs. The low is a lot stronger than the GFS. GFS is more in the 990s. This one's deepening into the 980s. So now we're talking about more of a gustier wind and maybe some even heavier snow. New York, you guys are right on the crisp of this line now. So it's very interesting how the latest runs have New York a little bit trending on the last. Philly too. Philly very close on the trending to the left. But Harrisburg, you guys are getting slammed. Poconos, Scranton, New Jersey, Northern New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, upstate New York gets absolute hammer with this storm. So is it going to happen? Maybe. I do think we're probably going to have a nice nor'easter. But you tell as we continue, and boom, this thing actually deepens even more. You still got those gusty winds, even for Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York City gets more into it. Philadelphia tries and gets more into it. But I think New York, you guys are going to get a nice snow event out of this, personally. Boston, Eastern Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, you're going to get absolutely hammered with this, in my personal opinion, on the Canadian. And it's not just the Canadian, it's all the models. GFS Euro being actually the most. The Euro is still at the biggest snow event. I know the GFS in Canadian has trended with the Euro, but the Euro stands on top with up to 15 plus inches for many areas. But there's the Canadian, very big on its snow too. I'm not even gonna lie, New York, you guys actually get up to maybe 8 inches. Connecticut gets up to a foot. Massachusetts get up to a good 8-10 inches. Pennsylvania, once again, in some areas, could be up to 15 to maybe even 18 inches. Like here's like 12. You can tell on the banding is going to be very important. Back in central, western Pennsylvania, up to 15 to 17 inches. But widespread, large snowstorm on this. If you look at the Courage, snowfall probably going to be a little bit more. And yeah, in the more the jackpots areas, maybe up to that 20, maybe for the max on the Canadian, has up to maybe 2 feet of snow. And less for the coastal areas. All right. So that's the latest on your Canadian. Now we look at the European. The European, once again, being that jackpot for the snow right now. It's been on top with all the other models. It's been at its highest totals. So if the trend continues throughout today, then Euro will be the most aggressive in this storm so far. At least of right now, the Euro is the most aggressive on this nor'easter. And usually it's the GFS or the Canadian being more aggressive. So it's good news that the Euro is showing a nice snowstorm. You can tell it's a little bit more south. Let me just make sure that's... Alright, yeah. So definitely being aggressive. It doesn't actually show that heavier snow. It does show that heavy snow like for New York, Boston, yeah, that purple and stuff, but not a strong low. Maybe 991. Yes, it's strong with some gusty winds, but it's not the strongest. It could be in the 960s, 970s, and then you got a huge problem. Then you got maybe more in the way of watching, but maybe I'm wrong about the snowfall. Is it really that big? Actually, the Euro is not the biggest, but pretty much in line with everyone else. Like I said, in this eastern Pennsylvania, northern, I do think up to a foot, but Euro's actually max on this is only a foot to maybe 13 inches. So it's actually a little bit less than the other models, but still very large snowstorm with gusty winds and up to a foot of snow. So all the models showing a foot of snow now. And not just that model, the Icon even now with us on this very large snowstorm. So all the models showing snow totals very high, some gusty winds. Now it's all about the snow totals and how strong does this low really get. You tell 992 on this. Yes, it's going to be a stronger low. I do think personally it could be a stronger low, but there's the Icon absolutely slams the northeast, then moves out like this. So pretty much right now the forecast is like this. And then he just moves out. All right. Then that second storm starts coming. We'll have to wait and see. Total snow is not out yet for it. But very interesting. That's all the models. Now let's look at the GEFS models, ensembles, and the mean for that. The ensembles are a lot more or less on the latest GFS, but it's still up to a good agreement, but we'll have to see if the lows will be more stronger. If the trend actually trends into a weaker low, those totals are going to go down. So we'll have to wait for the euro to come out near like 1, 2 o'clock. See what the euro is showing and just take it from there, all right? That's the latest update on the snowstorm. AccuWeather hasn't really updated anything on theirs, I don't think, but we can take a quick look on the AccuWeather. Why not? If it, oh. No, that's, they updated an hour ago, so we'll have to see. Yeah, they don't really have any more information. But that is going to wrap it up for in today's video. I hope you guys liked and enjoy. We'll have another video tonight, potentially. Have a great night. See you later. Bye.